Hello everybody, and welcome to the wonderful Peak District on a fantastically sunny day. Super hot, like ridiculously hot. And I've just joined the Limestone Way. This will be the starting point in about 8 days' time for me, for the beginning of my Limestone Way walk. 3 days, backpacking, with my tent, with my gear, and this is where I'll be starting, so at least this bit of the route will be familiar to me. But today, I'm not specifically following that Limestone Way walk. I'm doing walk number 15 from, not the back of the book, not the upside down bit of the book, from this bit of the book, the Collins Rambler's Guide to the Peak District. Walk number 15. I've made it to the halfway point. Survived. It's been brilliant. This is the last walk in the White Peak. I think it's called White Peak, yeah, the White Peak. This is the last one. I'll try and stick a picture in of a map that shows you where the White Peak and the Dark Peak are in the Peak District. But this is the last one. They've all been quite confined, haven't they all? Walks 1 to 15. I'll have a bit of a talk later on about some of my favourite bits so far, because there's been loads to think about. But yeah, today, walk number 15. Castleton Caves and Crags. We're already in quite an amazing valley. It's pretty cool. Rocks everywhere. Pretty stunning here. I'm not sure I'm going to get much shade today, but I've remembered my hat this time, so I shouldn't burn my bonds. I've got suntan lotion. We should be fine. This walk number 15, it's about 5 miles. A little circular route from Castleton. Nice easy Castleton car park. There's quite a few car parks actually. It was pretty busy on a sunny day like this. Absolutely rammed. It cost me about £4, which will give me 4 hours to try and do this walk and cook, which should be plenty. It should take about 2.5 hours for the walk. A super quick cook today, 30 minutes maximum. I've got a fantastic toastie, cheese and Marmite toastie that I'm going to cook. Super quick, hopefully super delicious. I don't want to be spending too long in this heat, and too long cooking in this heat either. So, should be a good simple dish. But yeah, I can't wait. Castleton Caves and Crags. Level 3 difficulty. Last one of the easy ones before we head out onto the difficult walks. Let's see where we go. Whew. I've taken a break. Tried to find some shade. Look at the whale sheep. Hello. And I'm just trying to catch some shade. All of that sort of first 1.5 miles was really exposed to the sun. I guess if it was a windy day or a rainy day, you'd also be exposed to it there. So I thought, as much as I'm drinking water, I brought 2 water bottles with me today. I've already got through half of one of them because it is just ridiculously hot. I couldn't tell you how hot it is. I mean, it was about 25 degrees C in the car. Oh, it was recording that. Obviously I had aircon on, lovely and cool. But then stepping out into this, it's hot. So I'm just taking a break. Yeah, I thought I'd use this bit of chance, just whilst I'm having a break, I'll talk you through a few things from the this walk number 15, Castleton. Yeah, you saw a photograph right at the beginning of the walk from the car park. You can see up and you can see Peveril Castle, built by, or built for certainly, William Peveril, the illegitimate son of William of Normandy. And the latest keep that's there dates from 1176, built by Henry II to oversee his prize of the Peak Forest, the Royal Forest of the Peak. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm hoping we'll get a bit more of a look at that. Now, I don't think yet, oh yeah, all of that I walked through, I didn't record much. So hot and sweaty, I was just trying to kind of concentrate and get through it, but all of that we walked through is called Cave Dale. And as you walk through sort of all the limestone cutting, you can see sort of little bits of sort of little cave entrances. Not like, I don't think they're particularly much or anything like that. So from Castleton, we've pretty much taken a straight line all along the limestone way, and where I've just turned off now, I have come off the limestone way, so I'm no longer on it. I will be continuing the journey further on in a few days' time, but this is going to take me back along through where there's mines and quarrying and all sorts of stuff. That means in front of me there. Yeah. Marmite. We're not going up to Marmite today. That would be a route there to go up. We're turning right and following the road. Oh, I love the peace and serenity of the Peak District. very quiet. You can just hear the birds chirping, the grasshoppers just pittering away. It's just lovely to be peaceful. It's wonderful. Hello. Oh, I best tell you what I've been doing. A really simple dish. It's took hardly any time to throw together. I've already got one cheese toastie already made. The other one's on. They only need like 2-3 minutes on each side. Simple recipe, basically. The recipe I've seen this from uses ciabatta rolls. I'm using paninis. Very similar kind of bread. That sort of bread that will squish and just taste even better when heated up. So, open up the panini, butter one side, some Marmite on the inside. If you don't like Marmite, absolutely no problem at all. Just make it a plain cheese toastie, but it gives it a real sort of meatiness. So, Marmite, bit of cheese, the other slice, a bit of Marmite, the panini back on top together, butter the other side. So you've got a panini with cheese and Marmite inside, buttered on each side. Stick it in a frying pan, and you've seen here I've just grabbed a couple of rocks from by the side of the road, put them inside one of the trangia pans to create a bit of weight that will increase the pressure as that cooks, and that's why when it cooks we get a delicious thin panini with the cheesy Marmite goodness inside. Absolutely delicious. So simple, so easy. I kept the cheese and the butter and stuff inside a sort of a cold storage little bag. It's such a hot day. I'm glad I did that because it was still like, you know, the butter was really melted. So super delicious. The other one's nearly done. I mean, it's proper tasty. On a hot day like this, I didn't want to be sat too long in the sun cooking something. This is super quick. In fact, I think the other one. Basically done now. Right. I thought I'd use this opportunity while I'm sat here, having a little munch, is to just have a little bit of a summary of the first 15 walks, really. I'm not going to go into loads of depth about it, because I decided when I've done all 30 of the whole book, I'll do a bit of a top 10, maybe top 10 walks, top 10 meals, maybe a mixture. We'll have to see. So let's have a think. My highlights. I guess it's useful that I've got the book with me to sort of refresh my memory. When I do the full review of all 30 and looking at, I will have a real good watch through my videos, and because it's a great memory for me, because I'm so forgetful, as you've seen from many of my videos, how forgetful I am. So I think one of the first real highlights was that very first walk. Walk number 1, Dovedale. I don't know whether it was because I hadn't been out in the Peak District for such a long time. It certainly was very emotional when I got there, but the walk itself was fantastic. Other than how busy it was down in Dovedale, as soon as I got up onto the tops, I was just totally on my own. Made that fantastic carbonara. Yeah, I think that's highlight number 1, a fantastic way to start it off. A really popular walk, but a really good one. Highlight number 2 was walk number 3. I don't know what it was about it necessarily. I was doing it with Mrs. Bushcraft Dave. It was the first one I did that was just me and Mrs. Bushcraft Dave together. We're actually going to go out together to do walk 16 in a couple of days' time, so hopefully it'll be another highlight. Walking with my wife, it's a really nice thing to do. I think it was also because the walk itself was ridiculously challenging for where I was. You know, I hadn't done loads of walking at that point. Having come out of lockdown and heading out into the Peak District, it was one where it certainly pushed me, but the views were unbelievable. Getting on top of Chrome Hill, looking at Dragon's Back Ridge, wonderful. The Chinese chow mein, the chicken chow mein cooked on my wok was also quite unusual on that walk number 3. I definitely would hopefully try to cook it better another time, but the walk itself with Mrs. Bushcraft Dave was excellent. Really enjoyed that one. Highlight number 3 was walk number 7, Lathkildale from Moneyash. It's a walk I've done a few times from the village of Moneyash, which I absolutely adore. I'll be camping there again when I do the Limestone Way walk in a week's time, so that's going to be quite cool. And in terms, the walk itself is beautiful. It was a really nice day, but it will forever be remembered for the fact that it was when I ended up losing the book, losing the old book. It was no more, and resulted in future walks needing to go out and buy this one. Yeah, sad memory for that, but the chili con carne that I made on that walk was an absolute stonker. Absolutely fantastic dish. So, yep, that was my next highlight. Walk number 7, Lathkildale from Moneyash. Great walk, great cook. Sad memories of losing my book. 4th highlight was the very next walk, walk number 8. It was one where I ended up doing it as a really spontaneous one. I'd ended up finishing early from work and just decided that I needed to get out and about and do a walk. The weather wasn't brilliant. It wasn't chucking it down, but it wasn't dry either. But it was just a really nice spontaneous walk. There's fantastic views. I'm sure Mrs. Bushcraft Dave's already put some of our footage in, but the bit when you walk past this river and you can see the bits where it rises, I mean, it was just fantastic, an absolutely brilliant walk. And it was at a point when I really needed something like that. It wasn't massively long, wasn't massively challenging, but just a really nice walk on a spontaneous night. Still tucking into me toastie. Highlight number 5, Magpie Mine. Absolutely brilliant walk. A long walk, one I've done before, but Magpie Mine is so spectacular. And as you're walking towards it and you're getting closer and closer and closer, it's such an impressive piece of industrial history. Well worth a walk to. Even if you don't do the full walk that I do, there's places you can park up and get to Magpie Mine to go and have a look at it. A really fantastic place to go. Well worth a visit. Highlight number 6. Walk number 11. It was part of a weekend of walks that I did, where I did walks number 10, 11 and 12 over the course of 3 days. a fantastic memory just doing that whole experience of doing those 3 walks. But walk number 11, from Bakewell to Chatsworth and back again, a beautiful walk, seeing the deer that were around the grounds of Chatsworth, seeing Chatsworth in the sun, really busy. You know, it wasn't massively long after we'd come out of lockdown. Just a wonderful visit. But the real highlight for me was the chicken tikka masala. I definitely have learnt from speaking to Mrs. Bushcraft Dave after making that video, because she was left over with the rest of what we called the curry gravy, basically like a curry stock, and she had the rest of it, and she used it at home that night also to make something for herself and for the 2 girls. And in the original recipe it did say about how you should like simmer it and cook it for like an hour or 2 hours until it really gets reduced and you get this really lovely, like, sort of, well, it's not thick, but it certainly is not as thin as what I ended up using with the gravy. So I would definitely do that again at some point in the future, but I would use it having already made the stock, let it simmer for absolutely ages to bring that curry gravy down so that it wasn't as thin and watery. It wasn't watery, that's not, it tasted unbelievable, but it could have been much thicker as a sauce if I'd had that extra time and done that extra step at home myself. But the meal itself was wonderful, and I had the leftovers. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. I think that's number 6. Let's think if there's any more highlights. Next highlight, which I think is number 7, Eldon Hole, just the previous walk that I did. The walk itself, lovely, short, get to see a whacking big hole in ground. You can't beat it, can you? It's not bad. But I think the thing that was the highlight really was the dish, the chorizo, tomato and gnocchi dish that I made, which was just unbelievably good. I will definitely be doing it again. It was just so simple, so easy. The fact that I can take it in my backpack and it's there should I need it. And I think I would like maybe carry dried pasta in my bag so I could just cook up some pasta. Yeah, there's loads of options, but it was absolutely fantastic. On the final highlight, the walk today, really. It's been an absolutely scorching hot day, but what a walk it's been. Absolutely killed me that first section, being super hot and walking uphill. I wasn't well prepared for it. I think I started the walk relatively dehydrated. I should have been drinking water a lot more during the day to make sure I was fully hydrated for a walk like that. Big mistake I made there, but you know, I did sit in the shade for quite a while, had some water, sorted myself that I was nice and ready for the next bit of the journey. But the approach to Mam Tor was just spectacular. And so that brings to an end the White Peak. The first 15 walks, all fairly well clustered together, taking in the White Peak. The next walk from this book, this playlist, is going to be walk number 16, Stanton Moor. This one I'll be doing in a couple of days with Mrs. Bushcraft. I can't say Mrs. Bushcraft Dave, I say Mrs. Bushcraft Dave. I'll be doing this video for the next walk with Mrs. Bushcraft. Nope. I'll be doing this walk with Mrs. Bushcraft Dave. Don't know what we'll be cooking, don't know what we'll be doing, but it'll be really nice to get out with her. I've got a really busy week of walks ahead of me. See, I'm doing this one today, this is on a Saturday. Monday I'm doing walk 16. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm actually doing walks 20 and 21 with a friend of mine from work, camping overnight, so that's going to be coming at some point, I mean way down the line. Those videos might not end up coming out till September, maybe something like that, but I'm recording them just because we've got a good opportunity to get out together and go and do a nice walk, so that'll be something to look forward to. And then so 8 days time from now, on Sunday, that's when I'm taking on the Limestone Way. I'm not doing all of it, I'm only doing a few sections of it. I'm going to do 3 days walking with my rucksack, with my tent, with all my food, and just seeing how that adventure goes. And like thinking with hindsight as to whether maybe I should have taken on a little bit more distance and mileage, but we'll find out when I do that walk. So I think the plan is next week you're going to get a video all about the trangia. I'm going to do a review. It's been about 6 months now since I started this journey, since I bought that trangia and decided to get out, do some cooking, do some walking, get fit, and see if I could cook like I would cook at home, but out in the wild. So it's not about, I'm sure there'll be times when I use pre-prep meals and stuff like that, but it's about seeing how close I can get to cooking at home, but out in the wild. And it's time for me to review it. Obviously I've seen it and I've talked about it in various bits of videos and stuff like that. But it's time to really talk to you now about what I've liked about it, what I haven't liked about it, what I'm thinking about in terms of where I go next with the trangia. But yeah, next up, a big 6-month review of the trangia and everything that I've learned and seen about it so far. That's going to be next week's video. And I believe then the next one after that is going to be my Limestone Way walk. And once we've done those, we're going to get onto the Dark Peak. Some really challenging walks, but walks that I'm really looking forward to, because thinking about it and reviewing what we did in the White Peak, I'm absolutely thinking to myself, well, and it was a massively brilliant memory doing walk number 3 and getting up Chrome Hill. As hard as those walks are going to be, the rewards are going to be even higher. So really looking forward to seeing those next bits of the journey, and really looking forward for you to join me on my adventures. I've really enjoyed getting in touch with a few of you and like seeing this journey grow. It's just wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. It's been absolutely brilliant for my mental health. It's been brilliant for my physical health. I've been in fantastic shape now, so really, really worth it. Absolutely wonderful. If you're ever thinking about getting yourself out and about, get yourself a trangia. It costs about 45 quid, 50 quid just for the base model. You can buy the other bits and pieces if you want, like me. Collins Rambler's Guide to the Peak District. I can't remember how much I picked it up for, but you might be able to pick it up cheap on eBay and stuff like that. Get a second-hand copy that's got notes in from me that somebody found in Lathkildale, maybe, who knows. But it's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me again on this adventure. I've still got approximately half a mile to go. It took about 10 minutes to get back to the car, so there'll still be some more footage before the end of the video. But I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for joining me. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please do. You'll get notifications each time there's a new video. One a week, every Sunday, unless Mrs. Bushcraft Dave has failed to get the editing done. But bless her, she spends hours doing it. So big shout out to my wife for sorting all this stuff out for us and putting up with me disappearing from the house for a few hours. But it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Click them subscribes and we'll see you in the next one. Sorry, I should have stopped it. I've not nothing to say. Just give me a minute.